Imagine a kid who lit up screens and made millions before he could drive. By 15, he was supposed to be set for life. Instead, he stared at a bank statement showing $40,000. Everything else? Vanished. But there was one check his family never touched. $100,000 from a powerful movie company. It bought decades of silence. That agreement just ran out. For the first time, he can speak. What they buried runs deeper than money. It's a darkness that swallowed childhoods, and it's finally seeing light. He came into the world in the summer of '71, in a quiet California suburb that felt worlds away from glamour. His dad had once written hits that played on every radio, catchy tunes about crushes and candy. Royalties rolled in. But by the time our kid arrived, those checks shrank to pennies, and the music dream faded. Mom waited tables at night spots, pouring drinks with a smile that never reached her eyes. The plan shifted. Their little boy would become the family's golden ticket. At 3, he unwrapped a burger in a commercial that won awards. Cute kid, wide smile, perfect for selling joy in 30 seconds. More ads poured in, over 100 before he hit double digits. His face sold cereal, toys, sneakers. Directors loved his spark. It should have been playground memories. Instead, he felt like property. Home was a cage disguised as a house. Mom bleached his curls until they burned, slipped him pills she swore were just caffeine to keep him slim and camera-ready. "You're too heavy," she'd hiss, even when he was skin and bones. She'd smack him for breathing wrong, smear cream on his sleeping face to fight pimples he didn't have. Dad drifted in and out, belt in hand, if report cards slipped, because auditions ran late. Bike rides? Forbidden. A scratch could mean missed work, missed money. Every dollar he earned got watched like hawk prey. Maids cleaned a house he barely lived in. He slept on a fold-out couch while luxury cars parked outside. By 15, he'd pulled in over $1 million. When he fought for legal freedom and peeked at the books, $40,000 remained. The rest fueled vacations, vehicles, bills, anything but him. Dad even demanded that last chunk as a management fee. To escape, the kid handed it over. Walked out, grown up on paper. Broke in reality. If this story twists your gut already, share it now. Someone needs to hear they're not alone. His breakout came early. At 7, he bounced onto a sitcom set with a wild comedian improvising aliens and chaos. The star saw fire in the boy, told producers this kid was special. Doors swung wider. Next, a baseball show where he slid into bases, earned bruises alongside paychecks. Teachers noticed grass stains, whispered worries. Movies followed, time travel chases, voice work for animated pups that made audiences tear up. He learned to cry on cue at 6, to sound heartbroken without faking it. Directors called it gift. He called it survival. Then horror knocked. At 12, he faced a masked killer in misty woods, nights dipping near freezing. He played the brainy kid who turned tables, machete swinging, screams echoing. Fame exploded. But sets turned brutal. Ice water dumped for rain. Directors barking he couldn't act. The stuntman in the mask despised him, scared him until tears flowed off camera. Years later, they'd embrace at fan events. Scars healed into stories. Creature features came next. Fluffy monsters that multiplied. Puppets heavier than school bags. He synced reactions so perfectly. Filmmakers built timing around him. Popcorn tossed in frustration stayed in the cut because it felt real. Caves on stormy coasts, mudslides burying sets, hypothermia nipping actors. He trapped real rats, pranked co-stars, kept spirits high when budgets ballooned. Friendships forged in freezing darkness looked effortless on screen because they were. Coming-of-age tales hit closer to bone. Train tracks, pie-eating contests ending in legendary pukes, first sips of alcohol under summer stars. He fought with castmates like brothers, caused hotel havoc, bonded over shared secrets. The director stoked tension to capture truth. It worked. Audiences felt every mile walked, every fear faced. Vampires sealed icon status. At 15, fresh off binges, he begged for second chances on set. Glass contacts burned eyes for hours, tears real from pain. Lines delivered like battle cries became quotes etched in fan hearts. Box office soared. But off-camera, parties raged. Substances numbed deeper wounds. What were those wounds? Hold on. Here's where the ground shakes. He and his best buddy, another young star, ruled teen screens. 9 films together, pranks in trailers, dreams of forever, until one didn't make it. The survivor carried guilt like chains. He spoke out first in quiet interviews. The real monster wasn't fame or drugs. It was men with power preying on kids. Grooming disguised as mentorship. Parties where numbers swapped and boundaries vanished. He named some. Others stayed shadowed. Threats looming. Decades of silence cost him. Arrests, rehabs, relapses, friendships with legends questioned under microscopes. His own accusations flipped back on him, claims recanted, mud slung anyway. Finances crumbled. Divorce papers painted poverty despite past. Millions. Taxes piled. Gigs barely covered rent. Yet he toured, sang, spoke at schools beside fellow survivors. The secret check? Tied to one film. One incident too explosive for daylight then. Studio feared fallout. Paid to hush. Agreement lapsed. Now truth breathes. He'd been touched, passed around, broken in ways cameras never saw. Parents sold access, turned blind eyes for cash. Laws failed. Statutes expired before he could scream. He crowdfunded proof, faced crashes, threats, near misses. Streamed anyway. Names dropped like bombs. Denials roared back. Justice stayed elusive, but voices rose louder. Today, he advocates, pushes laws extending windows for old pains, warns parents, mentors kids, records messages for dollars to survive, residuals trickle like tears, pennies for classics that minted fortunes for others. From million-dollar boy to fighting man, he stands, scarred, sober, stretches broken and rebuilt, still swinging. The system chewed him, spit him out. He keeps talking, so the next kid walks freer. This darkness hid in plain sight, behind laughs and blockbusters. If it shakes you, like it should, hit share, spread light, then subscribe. More stories of survival coming. Together, we make sure no child star pays this price again.